Guys, wake up. A brand new One Punch Man chapter literally just came out. Chapter 146 literally just dropped. And I know some of you might be asleep right now, or some of you might just be waking up, or some of you might even be going to bed right now, but just don't go to sleep because a new One Punch Man chapter just dropped. And well, in my case, I just woke up and I'm just eating breakfast right now, and I'm eating pasta if you wanted to know. This chapter, there's a lot to talk about in this chapter, to say the least. But of course, before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like on the video, because obviously it helps the video out, and why wouldn't you? It takes like 1 second, and if you do, then I'll show up outside of your house and I'll give you some goodies. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe, because I'm sure everybody loves some goodies. But anyway, this chapter starts off with Fubuki and Bomb, and Fubuki is actually basically telling Bomb to let her go, and because Fubuki wants to support Tatsumaki, because Tatsumaki right now is at her limit, but she's pushing herself over her limit, which could cause, everlasting effects in the future. Then after this, Bomb basically starts to say Fubuki and Tatsumaki are exactly like each other, which, to be honest, I don't really see personally, but apparently, Bomb thinks they are alike, and even Fubuki says her and Tatsumaki aren't alike at all, but I guess, Bomb is trying to say they are kind of the same in the sense that they try to help people and, push themselves over their limits. But then we shift over to Bang and Tatsumaki is here. It's kind of like a gag moment, because Bomb and Fubuki were literally talking about Tatsumaki pushing herself over her limit, and Tatsumaki is now here with Bang pushing herself over her limit, and Bang is basically saying that Tatsumaki could have been a lot more helpful if she just had some support from him and just had time to recover. And then now we shift over to Black S, and he's basically trying to overwhelm Darkshine, but obviously Darkshine is too strong and his body is way too durable to be defeated by Black S by sheer numbers. Now, and even Darkshine says himself that his muscles are like steel and they don't betray him, and Black S basically admits that he's not gonna be able to even leave a dent in Darkshine if he continues like this, and they say they have to kind of overwhelm him. And so then Black S decides to use a sperm tsunami and flatten everything, which, to be honest, this panel is actually quite amazing, because I've never seen Black S do something like this, and this just shows how strong Black S really is. Then all of a sudden a swordsman appears, well, a swordsman that we aren't familiar with appears, and then cuts Black S in a similar way to Atomic Samurai. It is then revealed that this old man's name is Kamikaze, and these guys are apparently the Council of Swordsmen according to Atomic Samurai, and these guys actually look pretty strong. Even Atomic Samurai is relieved to see them, so that must mean they are kind of strong. Black S then goes over to Homeless Emperor, and Homeless Emperor is pretty much just sitting down and just watching the show. Homeless Emperor just isn't helping Black S, and Black S then just he's a very irritable person, so Black S just kind of tells Homeless Emperor that if he's not gonna help, then he should just fuck off or something. I don't know. But Atomic Samurai then reveals his plan, that he wants Black S to split to his maximum amount, and then he will carpet bomb Black S and everything, and basically just destroy everything, which, to be honest, is pretty evil of Homeless Emperor to do, which kind of shows that Homeless Emperor has an ulterior motive and doesn't really care about the other cadres. We then get this really cool panel of like Homeless Emperor sitting down on like a pile of debris, and like the moon is kind of looking down on Homeless Emperor. I don't know if this is supposed to be like an eye, maybe God's eye, but it's just looking down on Homeless Emperor, and it's just a pretty cool panel in general. We then move on to see Kamikaze again, and Kamikaze just shows how strong he is by cutting like a whole big pile of debris in half along with Black S, and I wouldn't really be surprised if Kamikaze would be around like a high A class or even a low S class hero, because the feats he's shown in this chapter are pretty impressive. We then see Spring Mustachio again, and remember, we saw Spring Mustachio way back when Garou was first the hero hunter, and I remember he got completely decimated by Garou, but now Spring Mustachio is back, and it seems that Spring Mustachio has actually gotten stronger manga. And Kamikaze actually says that Spring Mustachio actually, decides to stay in the lower ranks of A class because the penetrating power of his technique is too great, so he can't attack horizontally in populated areas, which to be honest is quite impressive, because I never really saw Spring Mustachio as someone that was really strong, but apparently he is, and as we see in this chapter, he just destroyed a bunch of Black S's. Then we see the other Council of Swordsmen, do their own stuff, and they show how powerful they are as well. And then after, we see Genos come in with Tank Top Master, and he's basically leaving Tank Top Master with Fubuki and Bomb. And Bomb actually suggests something, and he said, if only we could give him some of my power. And Fubuki actually says, let's try it, which means Fubuki can actually transfer another person's power to another person, which to be honest is quite impressive. And in this arc, we've actually seen many abilities that we never knew Fubuki had. And this actually just goes to show how useful Fubuki is in general. Fubuki does pull this off, and she does transfer some of Bomb's power to Tank Top Master. Then after, there's a shift, and this panel is absolutely amazing. We see Awakened Garou finally emerge from underneath. Throughout these past few chapters, we knew Garou was, he was below the surface and he was going to appear, and he finally does appear. And this panel, oh my days, this panel is amazing. We see Garou, and he looks completely different to what he did, when we last saw him, and he looks amazing. This design is actually sexy, and I absolutely love it. And Bomb immediately recognizes Garou, and Bomb actually says he doesn't recognize Garou from his looks, but he actually recognizes Garou from that explosive, murderous aura, which to be honest is actually pretty crazy, because Garou now, it doesn't seem like Garou can really reverse back to how he was before. This is kind of his permanent state, and in this state, and I'm not complaining to be honest, because in this state he looks fucking amazing. But Bomb then calls out to Bang, and he then says it's Garou, and he says Garou is here, and immediately Bang recognizes that's Bomb's voice obviously, and Atomic Samurai then tells Bang to go and right his wrongs as a master, which to be honest is pretty cool. Atomic Samurai has always been a really fucking cool character, and this just adds to his catalogue of cool moments, you could say. Bang then heads over to where Bomb is, and this last panel is also really cool. It shows Bomb, Fubuki, Tank Top Master, and Garou just facing off against each other. Well, not Tank Top Master, because obviously Tank Top Master can't fight right now, but it's basically Bomb and Fubuki versus Garou right now, and I feel like in the next chapter we will see that fight go down, and maybe even Bang will join them as well. And to be honest, that's pretty much the end of the chapter, and this chapter by far is, I feel like it's definitely top 3 in our last 10 chapters we have received. Like, in the last 10 chapters we've received, this chapter is definitely top 3 for me, because we finally get to see Awakened Garou, and I can't wait to see Awakened Garou's new moves, his new abilities, his new techniques. Like, it's going to be crazy. I can assure you that it is going to be crazy. And can I just say the design? I know I've already said this, but the design of Garou is amazing. It looks so cool, and I can't wait to see this colored. Like, I want to see like the color scheme for how they're gonna do it in the anime, and I'm just amazed, because the design of Garou, I didn't think it would look like this. I think it would look more monstrous, but it still kind of looks like Garou, but it's at the same time doesn't look like Garou. It looks like he's transformed obviously, but he still has his overall, his overall figure. Like, we can still tell it's Garou. And this chapter actually goes to show how strong the Council of Swordsmen are. Like, these Council of Swordsmen, they completely turn the tide of the battle, and it really just goes to show that there's a lot more heroes that we don't know about that are actually really, really strong. And to be honest, this chapter overall, I would rate it like about a 9 out of 10. This chapter was actually really, really good, and this chapter was actually really long as well, because in the past few chapters we've only received like maybe 20 pages, maybe 15, but this chapter was like 30 whole pages, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. But apart from that, that's pretty much it for this video, to be honest. And if you like the video, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe with notifications turned on and set to all. And I think I'm actually going to make another video on this chapter, maybe, you know, just focusing on a few moments in the chapter that I really liked. But apart from that, I will see you in my next video.